My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast. And, well, it's a special one because, as you know, like, the episodes are Monday and Thursday.
Yeah.
We're back on a Sunday. Why the fuck are we back on a Sunday?
We told people on Thursday why we're back on a Sunday.
I'm trying to tease it out a little bit longer. So here's why we're back.
Yes.
Look, we've got a couple of people we've lined up for the podcast, but we've got one in particular who we got a message from that just simply said, dying of tuberculosis, might need to get me on now. It's Jess. How are we going, Jess?
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good.
We're good. Not as good as you, though, with that TV.
I know. I am honestly, I've been better, but I just sound like I smoke about 40 cigarettes a day. That's all.
Yeah. By the way, she doesn't actually have tuberculosis for people who take things literally.
No, clarifying.
We only have a few people who take things literally.
Yeah.
Don't.
She could be patient zero in the next plague, but we don't know yet.
Well, I haven't been tested for it, so let's not rule it out.
Fingers crossed. So think about the publicity. Anyway, so
It's all that's old is new again.
So it's fantastic to actually get you on here and get to have a chat. We've been really looking forward to this.
Oh, me too. I'm stoked to be on here with you guys.
Yay, because, like, you were my favourite coming out of the, like, in the audition.
Aww.
Like, I like Jess. And
Thank you.
Kristie attaches herself very firmly and very quickly and doesn't shake that.
No. See, at the moment, because I'm not attached firmly to anyone, it's kind of like, well, now I think Tessa Ketty. Sorry, I know her last name's not Ketty, but
she looks like Ashley Ketty.
She looks like Ashley Ketty.
So therefore,
I think talented enough to get through to the top three.
So there we go. So
in.
In terms of the show itself and going on to Masterchef, how weird is it to find yourself in that first sort of audition cook for them?
Oh, it's just one of the weirdest and strangest things. I think, but it's different for everyone though, because some people, like, for example, Steph,
Yep.
who has been trying for years and has been dreaming of doing it and has always seen herself on the show. You know, for someone like that, it's something they've envisaged before. Whereas for me, I never even thought, it's not that I didn't want to apply for something like MasterChef, but it wasn't on my radar. I didn't think that I had the ability to do it. I didn't think that I was at the level of doing something like that. So, you know, it was very quick from someone suggesting I apply to finding myself in the MasterChef kitchen.
You heard it. Jess accidentally got on the show.
I really feel like I fell onto the show.
Whoops.
You rocked up to be in the audience for, like, have you been paying attention?
Or Grant Denya's celebrity name game. She's like, wait a minute. You're George Columbaris.
That's actually what happened. I was trying to be on Lego Masters.
They're like, can you cook? And you're like, let's find out.
What are you going to make for us? Let's see. I've got a steak.
What have you got? Yeah. So yeah, no, very weird, very surreal. And then, like, you know, you rock up to judges' auditions and you look around and you're like, ha, this is hilarious. Like, you know, I'm definitely not getting further than this stage. And I think I don't know, I think a lot of us felt that way. And then, you know, they hand you that white apron, and I think you can probably see it in my face. I'm looking back. I was just like, are you guys mental? I was like, why are you giving me this?
Like, don't you have a quota?
Is this opposite day?
Yeah, the old opposite day thing. So it was all just like, I think the whole experience was like going through one of those, do you remember, like, water slides at the water park?
Yes.
And, like, you know, you're going up and down and twisting around, and then, like, you come out the other end, which is now, and you're just sort of, like, floating in this little kiddie pool. There's a little bit of wee in the pool.
And you're like, oh shit, I better get out of the way before someone lands on me.
Yeah, like, you had a good time going down the slide, and now you're not really sure what to do, and it's a little bit of a weird place to be. So yeah, I liken my experience to a water slide, basically.
That's possibly the best analogy for MasterChef we've ever.
Thank you.
Including the wee. Like, a little bit of wee might be mine, might have been someone before me, might have been someone after.
It's definitely a bit of my own way.
Or a bit of Monica's, you know. She was out before you, so into that.
We'll come on in a minute. But I like the idea, like, they hand you the apron, you're like, do you want me to give this to someone outside? Or
Yeah, I was like, I feel like looking behind me. Like, is there someone behind me right now?
And they've decided to up it a little bit by putting all the pictures of the past winners and like lighting it like it's this long gallery walk.
Like an in memoriam.
Yeah.
But that kind of got me, because like even if you're a pretty level-headed, don't get swept up by like drama, you know, because like TV has like they try to pull at people's heartstrings, and they did it with my backstory, and that's fine. Like it is what happened to me, but like I don't really go on about it like that in that sort of way. But so even if you're like quite level-headed, don't get wrapped up in all of that. When you're in the whole, you know, in that kitchen with all those people and those judges and like Sashi's there, you kind of start to get caught up in it, and then you're in that room. You've just cooked for an hour with like 200 people staring at you, and you turn this corner, and then there's, I don't know, it does get you. I don't care who you are, it would get you. Like seeing all those people that have been there before you and have done the exact same, have felt all the things that you're feeling. And they all went on to win it, and you're at the beginning of that whole journey. That word journey, MasterChef loves
we'll
the word journey.
We'll come to words in MasterChef a little bit later because we've got a few.
It's like it's pretty cool. It's pretty intense. Like you kind of want it more when you see it. They do a good job. Yeah.
Is it a bit? Well, you sort of alluded to it before, but is it like a bit unusual, for example, to then sit down with people and go, yeah, so I'll talk about like my medical history and my past medical issues, and I'll give you some photos, and then know that they're going to put that together in a montage and talk about it on a TV show where you're cooking?
Oh, it's so weird. I think at least I had control over the photo.
They can't like just randomly find photos and go, to find one.
I offered them the photo of the actual tumour. But they weren't so
that would be great.
I don't know why they didn't take that.
I think it's because it's on around dinner time, you know.
Who was it that cooked meatballs? Like just after they cooked the meatballs.
And here's the tumour. I mean, I get you. I've mentioned this before on the podcast. Like my mother put together, she decided at one point that she was very arts and craftsy. She never had been, but suddenly decided that she was, and started making cards and photo boards and all those sorts of things.
It happens when you get to a certain age.
Yeah, you're crafting too. But she decided to do a big photo board, and she went, "Which photo do you want of like you as a young child?" And I grabbed the one because I was born Christmas Eve and was due at the end of February, so I was ridiculously premature. And I picked the one of me about the size of a baked potato with 1 million tubes coming out of it. And her comment was, "Why that one?" And I went, "So none of you bastards forget." And it draws the most attention. There's all these great photos of people smiling and all the normal things, and there's one of a baked potato with tubes. And they're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Me."
So it's just being infused from the inside. You know, remember a few years ago we're injecting stuff was the big thing? I mean, it still is on Pitmasters, but you know, like just
infused. So the dish that you
get juicy.
So the dish that you picked for audition, why did you pick that one?
I was thinking about this like 2 days ago, and I don't know.
She was there.
I was looking at a picture of it and going, Jess, where did you think this up? Where did you get this dish from? I think it was probably, it was a culmination of things. Like it all started with a sauce. As most love stories. The shallot puree, which I made on it, I'd been making for a few years, and I loved it. So I was like, I've got to have that in the dish. And so then I started building the dish around
the shallot puree.
I guess.
Start from the shallot puree, work out.
I mean, it honestly started with the puree.
It's a sound philosophy. I mean, we saw Simon the other night made a dish that just went from, hit the sauce and then went, I'll just work something out around that.
Now, I don't know if you can ask this question, but is it a ready, steady cook situation where you have to bring your own ingredients in, or do you tell them what you want?
Oh, no. It's like, it's so... The lead up to that judges' auditions is so intense. They want everything very precise. They want, like, if you want a brand, a particular brand of something, you need to tell them. Otherwise, you don't know what you're going to get. And
Coles brand.
and you don't actually get a run through your ingredients that you're using until about 10 minutes before you start cooking.
Well, that's handy.
Wow.
That's handy. So you're like, I'm going to cook with this, and then you turn up like, where's the? Oh, sorry, didn't have that.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like panicking because I didn't know, and you don't know what kind of form your ingredients are going to come in. Like the scallops, are they going to be in the shell? Are they going to be prepped? Are they, it's like so many different variables, and then you've got so many different ingredients, and you could have been practicing with a certain brand of something, not even knowing that there's a difference, and then you get something else when you're there. So you have to write out all of these spreadsheets and like what equipment you're gonna need, how much of everything you need. Like it's very intense, and you take it as seriously because obviously you don't want to rock up. Like Jerry said, rock up to school with no pants.
Oops, I think I forgot to write down egg flip.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a braised chicken, but I apparently forgot to write chicken on the recipe. So
I'm doing a braised.
It's a braised.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Braised. It's a braised what? I don't know.
It's
Onion?
braised.
Let's just go with an onion.
Just go steal someone else's ingredients.
See, that would have been the other one, was like people sitting around waiting to cook, and then you hear someone's about to make an amazing dish and you go in first and just on the fly, like, cook their thing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it was a little bit of that at auditions because you don't know what anyone else is cooking. So, you kind of, I heard Kyle was cooking scallops.
Yeah.
And so, I'm like, oh, all right, yeah.
Well, there's good news about that.
Over.
Well, I mean, good news about Kyle scallops.
I know, I secretly was like, oh, it's just mushrooms, we're good.
What a
and then I
dickhead,
saw his dish.
He can't even tell
but then I saw him.
Mushroom and a scallop.
He doesn't know that.
But then I saw Kyle's dish and I was like, oh my God, they're going to take his mushroom scallops over my scallops any day. Like,
you're like, shit, I should have chosen mushrooms as well.
Then you feel a little bit like Millhouse pitching to Mr. Burns. I have nothing to offer you but love. And they're like, we've just had these mushroom scallops. Like, seriously.
Yeah, why would you bring us regular scallops? We've had the superior version.
We no longer do those.
Yeah.
We are purely on the mushroom scallop train.
Real scallops are so last year. Yeah, so yeah, it was really interesting with all the ingredients.
Oh, that's awesome. So you find out, you get given this white apron. Now, moving day into the house, how do the beds get allocated? Is it like first in, first served, or does it produce, like, is it pick a stick? Is it a battle to the death, cook off?
Well, I like the battle of the death idea. That's cool.
It doesn't work so much, and it's like death.
It actually
in inverted commas.
It actually starts with 30, not 24.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. No, so, well, I don't know. I think I was a bit, we all knew that we were going to have to share bunks and things like that because from past seasons, you just understand that. So, but you don't know, like, no one tells you, there's no one saying, right, when you go in, you want to run upstairs and get a bed. You don't know where the bedrooms even are. But I sort of had it in my head. I was like, right, you're going to be living in this house. So don't get like wowed when you walk in. Just go and find a bed and put something somewhere.
Basics.
Yeah, I'd be like, I need one near the bathroom, and that's on the bottom bunk because there's no fucking way I'm crawling into and out of it because it would just be, I'm sorry, Kristie had to leave MasterChef because she broke her leg 3 times.
Yeah, this is me. And I was like, I don't want to be on a top bunk. So my strategy, if you will, was to get in there and like just get a bed sorted. I was pretty keen for, like, Monica and I wanted to share a room together.
Nice.
And a few, I mean, everyone got on. It wasn't like I didn't want to share with someone else, but Monica and I bonded pretty early on. And so anyway, I ran upstairs straight away, and a few people were behind me, and I wasn't really sure where to go. So I went into the first room that I saw. I didn't go into any other rooms. I had no idea what was in any of the other rooms. I was in this room, and there were 2 bunk beds, and one of them was like a double. I have to say, I really struggled morally. I felt like someone maybe a bit older should have gotten the double. And then do you know who it was? It was Nushi. And Nushi came in and she was like, Nushka was like, no, darling, you take it.
Good.
So,
because like for Anushka, a normal single bed, I'm sure, seems like a double. So
oh, two of her on top. Like I used to laugh at her in bed all the time. It was so funny. She was so tiny. It's so ridiculous.
One of the things I enjoyed about the room thing was whenever they showed a shot of the house, some of the past contestants going, "Oh, you're in my room. Oh, that's my bed." Like Joe does that all the time on Twitter. Yeah. She's like, "Oh, look, it's my bed."
Well, do you know what's funny? You know what's funny about that? So I ended up sharing with Anushka, Steph, and Mon.
Yeah.
Like Mon was coming up the stairs. I was like, Monica, get in this room. But anyway, so I ended up sharing with them. But in Monica's, in my elimination, I think it was, they filmed me sitting on my bed chatting. But when Mon got eliminated, she was like one of the most loved people in the house. I have to like put it out there. So she left all of her, like she's just amazing. So she had left all her photos on the wall that day because we were like, "You're coming home." Sad story, she didn't. But then, so we were going to send all her photos back, but a few of us like took photos of her as like little memories.
Oh my God.
I know it's a little bit creepy, but
it's like a RuPaul Drag Race with the wigs that went missing this year. Like, and there was like a big deal, like on the Untucked.
So really?
So you went RuPaul's Drag Race. I went single white female, and like, suddenly photos are being held, and it's like, "We love you, Mon."
Little shrines of Monica.
But it was really funny because in my elimination video when they're filming me, there's just a photo of Monica with all my family photos.
You're like, you're beloved. It's like a photo of you cradling Monica's photo, just like.
Yeah. It's okay. I look a bit obsessed. It's like, I'm surprised rumors didn't start like we were friends before or something like that. But
you start hearing them singing the old theme to Prisoner. On the inside, the shine, just cradling a photo of Monica. So in terms of, we'll get into the actual kitchen itself shortly, but just the other question relating to the house is about cooking.
Yes.
And meal times in the house. So not saying that anyone else's food was bad, but was there anyone who was cooking and when they were cooking you were like, "Oh yeah, this is going to be good"?
Oh, like, yeah, all the time. Anyone but me, basically. Look, I'm slowly coming around to the fact that I can probably cook.
Well done. That's handy to come around to halfway through MasterChef.
Here's Steph, you took me to be on MasterChef and you kind of like fall into the room like, what the fuck?
Steph's fighting for it and you're going, I don't even know if I can cook.
Literally. But it was funny because as soon as we all got onto the show, we kind of started talking before we went to start filming. And the biggest joke was like, I was like, guys, how do you cook an egg? No one knew how, like, we all suddenly felt like we just forgot how to cook.
Yep.
Because I don't know, you watch it on TV and you're like, how am I ever going to start to create those sorts of things? So you start to, I don't know, have a bit of self-doubt. Well, at least I did. I'm sure
that sounds natural and normal.
I mean, you're around a lot of people that have a lot of these different skills and abilities, can cook things. And you watch them and you start going, I can't do that.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then the other thing is too, again, you watch, if you've watched MasterChef and you see them, you don't remember the start of, to use a MasterChef-y word, their journey. But
no.
You remember the tail end of it when they're suddenly amazing at everything. And, like, you forget the first couple of weeks where, like, they undercooked everything or the timing didn't work or they tried 15 elements when they should have used 3. So that would also be playing on your mind then because you're like, well, I should automatically know how to do everything.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. I'm trying to think who I always liked their cooking in the house. There are a few. Do you know what? Larissa always made something incredible. Like it's just. I remember one day she made satay in the house. Everyone was making satay that weekend. I even tried. I got it from a jar in the end.
That works.
But Larissa made this satay sauce, and I kid you not, it was the best satay sauce I've ever had, like ever. And I was eating it by the spoonful. I just kept looking at her, standing by the fridge, eating this satay sauce, going, I'm so sorry, I can't stop eating this. So she always kept, Larissa always manages to come up with really interesting flavor combinations, and she balances flavors really well. Who else? Everyone was really talented. Honestly, there was no one I ever went, oh no, I won't have any of theirs.
No. Except for you, when you were like, oh God, that's how making satay from a jar again.
So I know. It's out of an instant packet.
How did you do your rice? It's so interesting. Well, you see, I hit the button on the microwave for 30 seconds and then peeled back the lid.
Look, at least you put some effort into it. For me, it would have been menu logger Uber.
You would have been just Uber eating the whole time.
Oh, we wanted to. No, they wouldn't let us. Like, we legitimately, you can't get food in. Like, everything that we eat in the house, we cook.
So it's not going to be. It's kind of not a good look for MasterChef contestants to be Uber eating. No. So I can understand. Look, I can kind of understand that. So let's we'll start segueing into the kitchen by, look, I'll go there. The idea of groupthink within the house in terms of food, because you're all around each other, so you're all trialing different bits and pieces.
Yeah.
And the idea of that groupthink then bleeding into challenges. So, for example, everyone decides to, I don't know, make a panna cotta.
You are very sore about this, aren't you?
Every year there's one, okay? So to give you the podcast history on this, because we've got a long and varied history on this. We've had parfait and we had ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it's panna cotta. And everyone gets into a groove and just starts making it over and over and over again. Now, present company excluded.
I never made a panna cotta.
Which is one of the reasons why you're on now. Not going to lie.
Wait till we get Ben on.
Well, wait till I talk to that young man. You know what's coming. So
he's so not coming on now.
That's it. He's not coming anywhere near you. So does it happen though? Like, not even about panna cottas, but that everyone sort of gets into you get into a very blinkered headspace because that's your existence.
Yeah, like I think that's what everyone's worrying about, especially early on, because I think it's safe to say, sorry to past seasons, but I think our season has definitely been the most cohesive in terms of getting along.
Yeah.
But we're still 24 different people from different backgrounds and everything, and so you're trying to all figure each other out while settling into this new home that you may or may not live in for the next 6 months. So there's a little bit of like gathering thoughts and stuff. So you're not really sure, do you want to share all your information with everyone else, or do you want to like people to try your food or not? But then I guess we all just had this general understanding, and we kind of even talked about it a lot, that the most you're ever going to learn while you're on MasterChef is from one another. So you don't learn that much from from being in the actual MasterChef kitchen. You learn more at being at home cooking with others.
You're under time pressure in the kitchen.
Yeah. But
what can I learn in 45 minutes?
So sometimes you see, you get inspiration from other people's dishes that maybe they cooked at home, and I think, but I don't think there was ever any animosity about that. I think it was just this understanding of like picking up on other people's great ideas and making them.
Sometimes you get other people's
But
ideas.
I do remember.
Sometimes you all make a pork crackling.
But I do remember very distinctly, I think it was the very first practice. I think it was the first night we were in the house. Everyone was in the kitchen discussing ratios of gelatin for panna cotta.
And there sits the trophy.
If there was one conversation I could go back in history and plot out, and I'm talking about all history, human history, it would be that conversation in that first week about ratios of gelatin to panna cotta.
Yes.
I would wipe that one.
But I'm going to do a little segue.
I know, well.
Oh, keep going.
Love a panna cotta, though.
You were talking about cohesion.
The panna cottas. Yeah.
There you go. It's a delay.
Yeah. Don't defend panna cotta. No, you don't need to defend panna cotta. It doesn't deserve it.
what I was going to say is that you're talking about cohesion, and I think it actually showed up on screen, like in your first group challenge, when like these two teams got divided, and it was this like peace and harmony in the challenge with the locals. So it's like there was no drama. I think they tried to make drama or something, and it was like a non-event.
No, there was no drama.
Yeah, it was just a beautiful thing to watch. So, how did you find the group challenge? Because that's what we saw.
I definitely. There was no drama or anything within the teams. I think group challenges are terrifying because when you're cooking yourself in the kitchen, you know that if it goes right or if it goes wrong, at least you only have yourself to that's responsible for it.
Yeah.
And if something's going wrong, you can like try and fix it or whatever, it's you. When you're in a team, you're either worried that someone else is going to get you into elimination or that you're going to get everyone else into elimination. So they're kind of scary, but at the same time, you get to do really amazing things like, cook for amazing charities, Need for Feed, cook for teachers.
Don't bring up the teachers cooking. There was an attempt to murder Victorian teachers, and
plenty of
it's a nice way to clear out the backlog in the system. The number of casuals that got called the next day.
Oh no!
They stopped the chicken going out, so it wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
But that would have been
beautiful by the end.
I could imagine how like terrifying those when you're cooking for other groups of people, like not just group challenges or things where you're cooking for the judges. I can imagine that then feels a lot more pressure filled because like you're not just worried about what the three of them say. You've got the mass quantities to do as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I said it a few times in our group challenges, and I still stand by it. And I know most of the gang feel the same way. I think when we got given challenges such as those, we all just really wanted to do a great job for people who do a great job in their professions. So, the minute that we saw the raw chicken come back with George, like we knew we were in elimination. There was absolutely no way out of it. Like the other team, unless they went and like decided to get whole raw chickens and just put them on a plate.
Yeah, our dessert is a raw chicken parfait.
Like, yeah.
And raw chicken panna cotta, thank you.
Oh my God, no.
What is the gelatin ratio to raw chicken in a raw chicken? I don't quite know.
Just don't even contemplate that. That's actually made me feel a bit sick. But but yeah, so like it stops being about that, and you just want to do a really good job. So as soon as we saw the raw chicken, we knew we were going to elimination, and it just became about, we don't care how late this dish goes out, we just have to get downstairs and make sure that it's actually cooked for the guests. So, and that's what we did, and everyone ended up getting a beautiful plate of food, and it was a really great dish.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Like once the cooking thing was fixed up, it looked really good.
Yeah,
we actually cooked it the second time round.
Look, that's what we call in MasterChef. That's learning from mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah, we learned.
First time we sent out the raw one. Second time we send out the cooked one.
It's all
what we've learned for the future. The cooked one's better. So
Definitely better.
It's always handy to learn those things. Which group of people that you got to cook for was there on in terms of the group challenge, was there one like style of cooking that you really enjoyed more out of all the group ones? So like the Need for Feed one, which was
outdoors.
It was outdoors. Look, the food on that one was amazing.
I was worried about everyone with hay fever because there was literally hay being trucked in.
I was just more.
And then people having to sit on hay bales. I'm like, that's so fucking uncomfortable.
What I was more concerned about. I was more concerned about the locals. So,
tell us about the locals.
So, are you aware? We'll go back to the food bit in a minute. But are you aware when there's a word that just keeps going around?
Oh,
group.
Yes, and even more so watching it back. If I hear someone say beautiful or it's got to be perfect one more time, it's like, of course it's got to be perfect. Like, of course.
I felt a little bit, especially for Abby on those ones, because the producer could have gone, Abby, let's give you a different word. You're saying and again, it's because you're in that zone of you've just got to get these, voiceovers out and get these bits to camera out.
Yeah.
But you would hope that at some point someone goes, use a different one.
I've just thought of a venture for you. Most people want to get out of MasterChef and make a cookbook, or open do a food line or something like that. I'm thinking a cook's thesaurus.
Yes. That is such a good idea, and I will sell it specifically to each new season of MasterChef.
Yeah, that's what you can do. You can become the new vocabulary master.
I'm actually really keen for this. If you guys want to go in on this,
we're in.
Hells yeah,
we're 100% there.
Yeah.
So
I will present the swearing option.
You will, of course. You're good
on camera.
You're good at those ones.
Fucking delightful.
Can you imagine if we just described our dishes as fucking delightful?
Yeah, it's fucking wonderful. Look, hey, is this going to taste good enough for us as judges? Fuck yeah. Why do you think I'm cooking it?
Yeah,
I think I'm going, you know what? I want to just be really bad
Although
for
I'm
you.
a bit worried that fuck's going to become the new beautiful, and I don't want that to happen to my feet.
No, we don't need to ruin that. So besides the overuse of the word locals, with the challenges like things like need for feed and those, do you like when you get those parameters to sort of then think about how you work within those?
I really enjoy, and I don't know if it's because we won it, but it probably is. I really enjoyed the need for feed challenge the most. I think because both teams really excelled.
Yeah.
But also, I think it was a really great first team challenge because we are all still learning. We're still fresh and we are all home cooks. And it was about that sort of food that we're all familiar with of, a big table of food, a buffet, just, sharing beautiful food with other people. It wasn't like a service challenge to be, or anything like that. So I loved it. And it was close to my heart. I've got a lot of family from the country and things like that. And everyone there was absolutely beautiful. They came up. Oh, look, I'm saying beautiful. They were perfect. They were beautiful.
Is your
really great day?
Are your family farmers? What do they farm if they do?
No, but I've got I have a family that live up in country New South Wales, and then I've got some up north of Newcastle, and then I've got more family in Dubbo.
Oh, nice.
As well, and then their family are farmers. So,
well, my dad lives in a little country town called Caperty, and it's literally one of those ones. It's like on the way from between Lithgow and Mudgee. And it's one of those towns, if you blink, you miss it. It has a pub, it has a petrol station / everything else. But it's very cosmopolitan, has a couple of lesbians living there now. So Pride Parade, here we come.
Oh, the Pride Parade in Caperty is quite a joy to behold. So
that's brilliant.
So in terms of my last question on the need for feed before we move into just the kitchen itself is, on a scale of 1 to 10, just how excited was Matt Preston to get to do the horn thing?
So excited
because you could just see it in his face.
he was just so ecstatic to do that. But I mean, we weren't paying too close attention because we were busy cooking. But Matt Preston's like a big kid.
Yes, you can see it.
I think that's why everyone loves him so much, because he's I don't think he's ever mean or nasty.
No, he bounces around the kitchen with just this sort of somewhat devilish expression on his face at times about what mischief can I get into.
Well, early one morning at work, I got sucked into some clickbait, which was like, Matt Preston acts like an absolute douche to a waiter. And I'm like, what? And I clicked on it, and it was like a radio prank. Like he was doing it for like a radio station.
Yeah, that's just not Matt Preston.
I know, because I'm like, no, that's, what? What have they done to him?
I'd be devastated if anything ever came out about Preston not being like perfect.
Oh, he's awesome. He's amazing. So in terms of being in the kitchen and the style of stuff you were cooking, were there any challenges in particular that you did where you were like, this is like later on in reflection, like, this is absolutely brilliant?
Oh, like a challenge that I'd want to do again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. There were challenges that I wasn't in that I wanted to be in.
Ooh,
I think as well.
What were they?
I definitely would have liked to have done that fried chicken immunity challenge.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm definitely glad that I wasn't in that team relay challenge. This is Oh, and do you know what? I would like to do the elimination taste test condiment challenge again, and not be a complete bloody idiot.
I think there's so many. Let's talk about that one because
Piccalilli.
wow.
It's the same as what Mandy said. It's just the British version.
I know. There was so many, like, again, like poor Mandy. I felt bad for Mandy. Then I felt really bad for you. And
I was worried I was going to look like an idiot because, so we couldn't really hear what people were saying.
Yeah.
And I guess people were trying to do that because in case they got it wrong, then, you might, like I did, get it wrong again. So I didn't actually hear what Mandy had said. And I went up and I was like, I'm looking for sriracha. I just want to find sriracha. Where's the sriracha? Picked up the sriracha and I was like, oh, it's sriracha. Great. And I was like, no, don't get too cocky. Let's just double, let's just. And then I saw Mandy's one. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that was. Where I was for a second and picked it up.
Sriracha going, no, I don't want to get too cocky. You came off looking too cocky.
I know. And that's what I realized. I was like, everyone's going to think that I was like, haha, Mandy doesn't know what it is, but I do.
There are moments in the show where you can be inquisitive. That's not one of those times.
I know. And I was just, it was like my body was possessed or something. Yep. And I picked it up and I smelt it. I was like, oh, that's piccalilli. Because I'm from the UK and I lived there for a really long time. So I don't call it sweet mustard pickle. I call it piccalilli.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I went to put it back down because the rule was if you touched the spoon, you had to try it. And I put it back down and I bumped the spoon a little bit. Just a little bit. I probably could have gotten away with it. And I looked up at Nigella and she didn't know what to do. She's looking at me like, I don't know. And I stupidly just went, oh, I touched the spoon.
Damn it.
So she was like, yeah, you got to try that. And so that's the story of that challenge.
Don't give yourself away.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like in chess, touch move. Don't give yourself away if nobody's noticed.
Have you guys not noticed that I can't hold anything in?
That became very apparent.
Can we just pause there for a moment? It's like you had a moment with Nigella Lawson. Like,
yeah.
The fangirling that's going on right now.
We were both looking at each other like, what do we do? And I just like, yeah.
See, as we've mentioned before, we've spent a lot of time like talking to Huda and stuff like that. And still, every time we see Huda, Nigella still comes up.
Yeah.
Still, to this day. Like somebody's like,
what does her breath smell like?
So remember when you made that Persian fairy floss for Nigella again? Remember when you did that? That was fun, wasn't it? She's like,
I'll never forget when she did that. That was amazing. I loved when Huda made her that fairy.
Like, guys, we've talked about this a million times before, like, but Nigella, it just keeps coming back up. Was there anything in terms of the challenges? So apart from the relay challenge, obviously, were there any other challenges that you're like? Or dishes that you had to cook that you're like, never again? And let's not talk 67 steps. We'll come to that one.
Oh God,
we'll come to that in a minute. We'll get there soon. But were there any others where you're just like, that was great, I'm never doing that again?
Hang on, guys, I'm gonna die for a second. I'm just gonna cough.
This is what happens with tuberculosis, guys. So we need to awareness is a very important thing. We're here to raise awareness about tuberculosis.
Vaccines are important.
Yeah, vaccinate always.
Vaccinate.
Right.
Yeah,
there you go. So yeah, were there any dishes where you were like, that's great, never again?
I think the pressure of the Black Mystery Box was an unpleasant pressure.
It's very rare in your daily life that you're forced to cook something out of a box with a time limit on it. So, which is the most unrealistic part of the show.
It was just, and I like the idea of like two people going home on it, and you haven't you still don't even know where anything is in the kitchen, so it's pretty stressful. Even though I did quite well in it, I remember I pickled some tomatoes on that dish, and I realized once I plated it up that I had lodged a peppercorn inside a tomato. on the plate. So in the break between them tasting the dish, I basically had a full-blown meltdown and just imagined the judges like eating I was like, do I tell them? Because if I don't tell them, then someone's going to eat the peppercorn and then I'm just going to be like, you know,
Not you're like George.
But like, yeah, exactly. But or do tell them, but then they're gonna be like, well, you put a peppercorn in. Anyway, it ended up being like a non-issue, but everyone laughed when I got tasted because they went like we did the whole introduction and then they went to go start eating it, and I just went, oh my god, I've got to tell you, there's a peppercorn in the tomato.
Can I just say, at least it was just a peppercorn and not a whole metal plate.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
It could have been so much worse. It could have been
Simon's moment of standing there going, do I tell them? Yes, no, yes, no, no, I don't know. What do I do? And then they cut and they're like, why won't this cut? And he's still just standing there going, maybe they won't notice. Maybe they won't notice. And they're trying to cut through metal. And eventually he's like, I left the plate on there.
Oh my God.
That would have been horrible. Like you're standing there and you can see the internal argument.
Yeah.
It's really hard because you don't know whether you should tell. Like, one of the biggest things is like, don't admit when you've done something wrong, because they might not even notice in the first place. But then
it might be what you meant.
Yes.
Yeah, but then you also really don't want to like poison anyone or like hurt anyone. So
it's the old line with show business about the only way that anyone knows that you've screwed up on stage is if you open your mouth really wide and look horribly shocked that something's just happened.
Absolutely.
That's the only way. If you just keep rolling, no one knows it was a mistake.
That's the thing. And that's probably what I should have done in the end. But it was all fine in the end of it, like by the end, you know. But I just remember having the biggest panic during the break that day.
And you mentioned you wanted to be in the fried chicken challenge. What fried chicken would you have put up?
Well, actually, it would have been quite similar to what Tessa made, like buffalo fried chicken.
Yum.
But and Tessa will understand this, but mine just would have been better, you know.
Well, we might need to get that, you know, that tested at some point. But
yeah, I'm happy to do that. Like Tessa and I'll maybe join forces and have a go at it together.
I'm happy to sacrifice myself for the greater good.
So with all the blonde Queensland girls, was there did they emanate sunshine? Like they just walked through the house and it just suddenly get warmer all of a sudden and you hear the crashing of the ocean and the...
Definitely not. No.
Pineapple.
Those girls are amazing. I thought it was so funny that the coincidence of them all, it's not, I think there's just that they're all blonde. That's really the main coincidence. But they're all very different people individually, and they're absolutely amazing. And they actually were in the adjoining room to my room with Tati.
Yeah.
So, and that room stayed safe.
That's a protected room.
That was like a blessed room.
That room's got charms all over
blessed.
it.
The gods have blessed that room.
My room, not so much.
And the little mind meld going on between, again, the one they showed the other night, between, as we've come to call them, Nicotina.
Nicotina.
Yeah, Nicotina Tessachetti. And the mind meld that's going on between them. Yeah, that was just, on that team challenge when Nicole and Christina got each other.
Yeah.
That was so good.
They're just telepathically sending each other the dish. Which is So on to more sensitive matters a little bit now. Have you attempted any 67-step dishes?
I just call BS on that whole situation. Hey, no. Do you know what and I think they put it in the episode. I think it came across in the episode. I loved. If that's how I went, I'm glad that's how I went.
Well, you went with some drama. Not many to go in such a way that Matt Preston puts his head in his hands.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's just my effect that I have on people.
I'm doing
it every time.
I'm doing it.
He did that every day I walked into the kitchen. I don't know what you're talking about. No, it was. I went on to Masterchef is such a unique experience, and it is just that it's an experience. It doesn't make your career. It doesn't hand you a career on a platter. It doesn't offer you anything. Even if you win it, it doesn't do anything for you. You have to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the reason you go on to MasterChef, I think, is to do things like 67-step recipes and, you know, and meet people like Nigella and Heston. So
Yes, that's right. You got Heston as well. Oh my God. Just like that.
Well, I didn't get to meet Heston, and I'm pretty
Did you miss
bummed about
Heston?
that. Yeah, I miss Heston, but let's not talk about that.
She was
Let's
out.
go
She
back
was
to
out
my
for
disaster, the dessert.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God. Sorry. I'm having
Now
a moment.
she could have been back here.
We're done. We're no longer friends.
She could have been. I'm back. It's great. So anyway, friend. You could have been. Just sit over there. Just sit over there. No.
I'm out.
Now,
Where are my lollies?
you could have been back in. That dish that you made when you came back in on the return.
Oh my God.
How did you put more thought into that one than the first dish?
I don't know. I went when I got booted. Look, I didn't get booted, or did I? Like, my dessert collapsed.
They physically dragged you out and threw you outside.
I'm not leaving.
And
yeah, that's what was not seen on camera.
Yeah. That's where the Vespa went for a couple of weeks. She's like clinging onto it. No!
I changed myself to the front door. But well, I went and worked at Fire Door in Sydney with Lennox, and not gonna lie, that dish is like a Fire Door dish.
Oh yeah.
But you know, with my own little riff on it, and Lennox was just a great support to me, and a huge inspiration. I think he's an incredible chef, and he was so supportive of me trying to get back into the competition.
That's awesome.
So yeah, like a big shout out to Lennox. So he was gutted when I didn't get back in. We exchanged a few funny text messages, but I think I was even messaging him the night before. I was like, "What's in the plum sauce again?" But but then of course I got in there and I couldn't remember anything anyway. So I just made it all up as I went. But I definitely knew that I wanted to show off what I had learned, and I think that Fire Door's style of cooking and Lennox's style of cooking is definitely something that I think if I had stayed in the competition longer, that's where I would have ended up, because that is what I like to do. You're still finding your feet a little bit in the first few weeks. So I never really got to reach that point where my cooking progressed to the level that I wanted it to show the judges. But
we're back, everyone. There's a little bit of a buffer there. It turns out that the NBN is not as reliable as we all hoped. Who'd have thunk it?
Cara.
Wire to the node, copper to the node. Great thing. So anyway, we were talking about you coming back in the return challenge, and obviously, you know, the hopes of getting back in, having been to Fire Door. How much of a shot did you think you were at getting back?
Until they tasted Tim's dish, like, yeah, pretty sure. No,
we were sure.
I knew that, I really felt like there was a really good chance that I would get back in. I thought that my dish was, I thought it was, sophisticated. I thought it showed what I had learned. I thought that it looked beautiful. I knew the flavors really worked. So, I was really confident for a while, and I knew it was going to be tough, but I slowly felt that dream sort of slipping away. It was pretty heart-wrenching. But that's just the name of the game. And at least I got to go out that night with all the others. So
it was a real Romy and Michelle moment, like you've gone back to high school and you got to prove yourself. I mean, you didn't do the whole, pretend you invented Post-its. But but
it was this big gathering of everyone, and I always love when they bring everyone and everyone runs up like, "Oh my god!" and there's this big hug, and they're like, "You got to cook," and you're like, "But I'm talking to people."
Yeah, but we want to chat. We want to have a chat. Yeah.
But there is Steph, and I like Steph, and I want to talk to her. And okay, I will cook for you.
So
it was it's tough. And it's always tough when the person that's just been eliminated as well. Like, Waleed was cooking right behind me.
Yeah.
And I love that man. He is just, just the nicest person you will ever meet.
Waleed kind of became a bit of the spirit animal for Twitter in particular because of his ability to just sort of, go, fuck this, you're not paying any attention to me, I'm going to eat. And he did become, like, again, a spirit animal for many people.
The hero we really needed.
He was the hero we needed. Because, like, everyone else, the focus was on everyone else, and you just see Waleed in the background go, well, if you're not going to bring cameras over to me, I'm going to eat.
What is this job?
And yeah, I don't know what happened to Waleed on the TV, but I can tell you he is a very talented cook. And if you're in Melbourne, oh my God, that Fresh Prince of Baklava, he brought some into the house on our first day, and I just honestly was like, why am I even here? This is the greatest thing I've ever eaten.
It looked the baklava stuff was incredible. So yeah,
I was so good.
Awesome.
So in terms of watching it back, that's a question we ask everyone, but what is it like to watch yourself back on television?
Yeah, I think I was really interested to see what it was going to be like. I think I was really fine until like a few days before it went to air, because I just thought, I'll deal with that later. And then I just went, oh my God, it's happening. And I think the idea of it airing meant that it would stop airing, sooner. The sooner it aired, the sooner it finished, in a way. And you've just spent like a year of your life making this show. But I think the hardest part is watching something that took you so long to create condensed down to like an hour and a half episode.
And you're like in the montage of mediocrity, and you're like,
yeah.
That was the best fucking beef dish I have ever made. I will never replicate that shit again, and it is just mediocre.
I'm just in the montage.
And then I show that, they can't show every dish that's made.
Yeah.
I know some people, I've seen some things on like online forums where everyone's like really upset that they don't try everything, and on a mystery box, or they don't show everyone's dish, especially in the beginning in every challenge. But we were still lived through it. Like they did taste all of that. They gave us our feedback and stuff like that. So, for us, it was every dish meant something to us, and then a lot of it doesn't make it to screen. So that's a bit interesting. I'm really happy they didn't show me crying as much. Believe it or not, they didn't actually show all of my crying.
Oh, that's good, because we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Do you know what? I think I said it to them once. I was just like, I just feel things. Like, and they just come out in my eyes.
I'm the cooking empath.
I'm a full empath, and I used to really not like that about myself, and I was worried about it being seen on TV. And then I just decided that that's just me, and I enjoy being who I am.
Good.
And and if someone has a problem with me crying, that's their own issue.
It is. I'm very awkward around emotions and have problems processing them. So you're absolutely right.
I knew we were soul sisters. I knew it was going to be love.
I'll just sit back off to the side again. You two just
bye, Chris.
Vibing here. You're just vibing. Embracing the universe.
But yeah, I think actually going on TV was really it's something I never thought I would do, and it was weird watching myself back, but it was actually really good for me.
Are you a bit peeved you're not at the Logies tonight? Like, that's...
No, I'm all right with that. I'll let them have their night. I went to Westy Wednesday. What are you talking about?
I was going to say, you were at Westy Wednesday. I was going to say, so what's next? I mean, you've done Westy Wednesdays. I mean,
well,
Tuesdays.
I've gone to the top. Where am I? Westy Wednesday was one of the best nights. It was so much fun. People in the West know how to party, honestly.
I was just jealous that, Ed Cavalier, so,
He is great fun. He is so much fun.
You got to hang with Ed Cavalier?
Yeah, because Ed's on the radio show.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's so cool. What did you wear? Like, how did you Westy yourself up?
Well, so here's the thing. I thought I'd go Westy-ish. I thought not that I'm saying, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't want to offend anyone.
I lived in the West for a bit growing up, so I have I am like part Westy.
Jess can see the cul-de-sac she's going down and doesn't want to be there.
Well, no, so I just wore I wore my Timberlands. I wore a big denim jacket.
That's accurate.
Perfect.
And I kind of put some lippy on, so I tried to glam it up a bit. But then I rock up into the green room and it's all like, it's Lizzie and Mel and Ryan from Married at First Sight and Steph's there. And I tell you what, everyone was glammed up so much. Especially Lizzie and Mel. Like, they were so glam. And I just went, what the hell are you wearing, Jess? Like, why have you... Not that I could glam up that much even if I tried.
But you were just fitting in with the people.
Was it a bit of a Reese Witherspoon moment when she rocked up to the party dressed in, like, the Playboy bunny outfit in... what was it called?
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, that's the one.
Legally Blonde.
Did you just own it and rock it? You're like, fuck it. I followed the brief. Here I am.
I met the brief. The rest of these people need to go home from Westy Wednesday.
Yeah.
I know. I was a little bit like, it's Westy Wednesday. Why do you look like a beautiful disco ball right now?
It's like we're the new West.
Exactly.
Renewable.
So I had a lot of fun that night. Lizzie from Maths and I stole some cheese from the buffet.
That's
the great cheese heist of Westy Wednesday.
They're now my Patronus.
You're like Oceans 2.
I'm unemployed now. So there were a few wheels of cheese.
Cheese thievery.
You got to get by.
You do what you do.
Yeah. It's we all come to that point in our lives where it's like, I've got no money. There is cheese. What can I steal?
And remember, as Homer Simpson once famously said, if you poke it with a toothpick, it's not theft anymore. It's free.
It was a full wheel of cheese. I don't think a toothpick would have done.
Did you try?
Well.
You try?
No, we just took it. I think she just took it.
Just a wheel of. Now I've got this image of you two cheese rolling.
Yeah, it was basically like that, and I was like packing her up some like cured meats in a little parcel.
This just sounds like us at a night out.
How did you smuggle it out? Was it up the dress? Like, was it like this awkward walking outwards?
Well, we were joking. Lizzie and I were joking about it originally, and then I went away for a bit, and I came back to the beautiful grazing table that Today FM had set up, and she was like full on, getting this stuff in her bag.
Yeah, no, we're stealing that wheel. We're stealing the wheel.
She is a good wing woman. That's the kind of person.
She is amazing. She's amazing. I was like, honey, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it right. I don't want your Louis Vuitton bag smelling of prosciutto. So
it's a real world problem.
Yeah, so we were folding up the napkins, and I was like encasing the cured meats properly so that they wouldn't permeate her bag.
And then there was a friend like Jess.
Everyone needs a friend like me, babe. There was a full on leg of Parma ham, like the Iberico ham leg. And I was very tempted to see if I could get away with taking that home.
Oh my god!
Everybody, I think that's the one message I think that everyone should take from this podcast. Everybody needs a friend like Jess.
Yes, I think I'm glad to have you as a friend now, Jess, because I just bought a new Harry Potter bag, and I don't want that smelling like prosciutto when we, need to
steal when you're stealing cured meats.
Yes. With me around, it'll never happen. It'll never happen.
It's an important thing. So, is there anything else coming up in your near future? The things that you want to sort of plug or talk about, or sort of directions you're planning on going?
Absolutely. So everyone knows I love my butter.
Oh yeah.
So I'm starting up my own company called the Well Fed Company. Well Fed Co. Yeah, very exciting. And I'm going to be making cultured compound butters to sell at Sydney markets. Yeah.
Ooh. Will you be churning your own butter just out there?
I am churning my own butter.
That's awesome. I thought it was just like pre-churned butter. No, this is awesome.
And then she's going to throw cured meat in it. That's going to be amazing.
And also working on some pop-up dinners as well. So I'll keep everyone posted about that.
Yeah, we will pop into one of those pop-ups.
Oh, you guys have to come. You have to
100%.
come. It's not a question.
Oh, 100%. We have to be there, and we have to review it.
Yeah. As long as it's a rave review, I'm fine.
We're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on, Jess. It has been an absolute delight to get you on. It's something that we sort of set out. We set out a couple of goals at the start when we're watching the opening credit montage for the first time and trying to learn everybody's names, and watching the weird actions that you all do. which are
Such
perfectly
weird
natural
things.
in any way, every way, shape, and form. So when we watched that, we're like, oh, that one there, that one, that person, that. And you were one of the first ones to be like, oh, Jess looks like
She looks like fun.
She'd be fun.
Aw.
So we're really happy that we've got to have a chat to you. Thank you for coming onto the podcast tonight. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me and my tuberculosis on your podcast.
We're here to promote vaccines.
You know,
I really appreciate it. I absolutely love this podcast, and I love chatting to you guys. You guys are great.
Thank you. So, so donations wise for your funeral after the tuberculosis is claimed you.
GoFundMe.
Donations in cheese will be accepted.
That's our sort of funeral.
Come to Jesus moment.
Come to Jesus. So yes.
Love it.
So until tomorrow night for everybody listening to the normal podcast, I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
Thank you, Jess, and we'll see you all later.
Bye.